going to discuss one aspect of the dinosaur hoax. I'm going to talk about the claimed dinosaur footprints found at the Dinosaur Valley State Park in Glen Rose, Texas. But I do believe it's a microcosm of the complete dinosaur hoax. Today, I was debating the dinosaur hoax at Conspiracy Outpost, and one of the familiar naysayers mentioned the dinosaur footprints at the Dinosaur Valley State Park in Texas as proof of the dinosaurs. You're probably familiar with these footprints. This is what the naysayer wrote. How did all of the dinosaur tracks manage to embed themselves in the solid limestone riverbed, some still underwater at Glen Rose, Texas? Or is that a conspiracy too? Sometimes I really have to thank the so-called debunkers and their tongue-in-cheek arguments, because they force me sometimes to do a bit more digging, and I'm glad I did here. Bear with me as I need to give a bit of background so that you understand the matter. But this is actually pretty funny, and I think the truth is evident to any reasonable person. My first issue with the footprints, and this is obvious, is that the purported dinosaur tracks were first discovered in 1908 or 1909, depending on which article you're reading. But seriously, 1909. Now, I was hoping that this discovery was made before dinosaurs were first named in 1842 by Sir Richard Owen, but alas, these pretty obvious tracks remained strangely undetected for so many years until the alleged mighty force of floodwaters in 1908. If you're a true skeptic, alarm bells should already be going off. That was the first alarm bell, but the next one is much bigger. Here's a pamphlet from the Texas Parks and Wildlife about Dinosaur Valley State Park. On page 1 it reads, "The National Park Service designated Dinosaur Valley State Park a national natural landmark in 1968 for the outstanding display of dinosaur footprints found here. These tracks and trackways changed scientific thinking about the herding habits and locomotion of the sauropods that once roamed Texas. In other words, this park has full national recognition and is widely accepted by all paleontologists." The pamphlet continues. "The fossilized trackways provide clues to the habits of the dinosaurs. The sauropod trackways show that they travel in herds. They travel with the adults on the outside flanks and juveniles contained in the middle, possibly to protect them from predators or danger. Trackways show that the sauropods move more slowly, about 2.7 miles per hour, than the speedier theropods, about 5 miles per hour. Fossil hunter R.T. Berg theorized that the Biloxi trackway might provide evidence of an attack by the faster and more ferocious theropod or a slower-moving sauropod, a theory that has been discussed and debated for years but never proven. Wonderful drama." Now, because of this alleged amazing find in 1908, and after the state of Texas acquired the land in 1968, the theropod was then named the official state dinosaur of Texas. According to this website, the dinosaur is named for the town of Biloxi in Hood County and for the Biloxi River, both of which are near the Jones Ranch site where the fossils of this species were discovered. In 2009, a resolution was passed to amend the name of the Lone Star State dinosaur to Biloxisaurus jonesii. It is estimated that the dinosaur measured 70 feet long, 12 feet high at the shoulder, and weighed as much as 20 tons. Wow! How can anyone doubt dinosaurs after that? I mean, you can go to Texas and visit the actual footprints of dinosaurs. You can put your hands on these footprints, you can put your feet on them. It's tangible proof, right? Now back to that State of Texas pamphlet. 9-year-old George Adams, now remember this name, George Adams, stumbled across strange 3-toed tracks that look like prints of a giant bird in a tributary of the Biloxi in 1909. Charlie Moss was looking for a place for his moonshine stick and discovered tracks in the Biloxi River. The mighty force of floodwaters in 1908 may have uncovered these fossilized tracks made millions of years ago. And there you get the silly reason why these tracks remained hidden for so long. Now to repeat, George Adams, at 9 years old, supposedly discovered the tracks. And don't dinosaur stories always sound better when kids make the discovery? Like this recent one. After George Adams, the next guy discovered more tracks a year later nearby when he was searching for a place for his moonshine still. Great story. However, Wikipedia pointed out a very interesting controversy related to Dinosaur Valley State Park. This controversy centers around what many refer to as human footprints next to the dinosaur footprints. These human footprints got the young Earth creationists all excited, and they even made a museum about it. Near Dinosaur Valley State Park, in the limestone deposits along the Biloxi River, twin sets tracks were found in the Glen Rose Formation as early as 1908. Now note here that the tracks were found in 1908. That means they were there from the beginning of the discovery. These footprints were thought to be evidence that humans and non-avian dinosaurs lived at the same time, but now are thought to be from dinosaurs. However, young Earth creationists continue to believe that humans and non-avian dinosaurs lived at the same time, a notion that is contrary to the standard view of the geological timescale. In a rebuttal, biologist Massimo Pigliucci has noted that geologists in the 1980s clearly demonstrated that no human being left these prints, but rather they were in fact metatarsal dinosaur tracks together with a few pure and simple fakes. So now we have an official scientist recognizing some of the fakery. The family of George Adams. Remember, George Adams, according to the Texas pamphlet, was the officially recognized 9-year-old who allegedly found the tracks. Now, the family of George Adams, who claimed to have found human footprints in the Glen Rose Formation, later admitted that Adams and some other fossil footprints were a hoax. Let me repeat that. George Adams, the kid who made this discovery in the first place, faked the fossil footprints. Zana Douglas, the granddaughter of George Adams, explained that during the 1930s depression, her grandfather and other residents of Glen Rose made money by making moonshine and selling dinosaur fossils. This was a community event. The full fossils brought $15 to $30, and when the supply ran low, they just carved more, some with human footprints thrown in. Again, they just carved more, some with human footprints thrown in. Let's look at that pamphlet again, just to be sure, but I don't read anything in here about George Adams being a fraudster whose dinosaur footprints were admitted by his family to be fakes. George Adams' family, who owned the property and the surrounding community, just carved more footprints to make money along with their moonshine. There's that moonshine word again. Remember that the other discoverer of the tracks was looking for a place to hide his moonshine. Doesn't this sound like an awesome scam by a bunch of neighboring hillbillies? Now, we're supposed to believe that this family only faked some of the dinosaur footprints and human footprints, which just happened to appear after a flood in 1908 on property of a family willing to fake dinosaur footprints. Is this not obvious to any reasonable person? Do you really think that George Adams' family, and his father was in on it, only faked some of the tracks, but not the whole thing? This is where you need to think like a detective. Setting aside the fact that the granddaughter of this family flat out said George Adams' tracks were fake, what are the odds that dinosaur tracks would happen to appear on the property of a family in 1908 or 1909 after a peculiar flood, a family that made a spectacular, one-of-a-kind find of dinosaur tracks? It would just happen to be people who were not only willing but also had the know-how to fake more dinosaur tracks. And seriously, what would be the point of carving fake tracks into stone when you already have a bunch of real ones, unless all of it was a scam in the first place? Furthermore, the public and many scientists accepted these fakes as real for many years. And so these moonshine hillbillies must have done an amazing job, and I highly doubt that the visitor center points out which footprints are fake and which ones are real. Think about this. If a descendant of an art forger admitted that his family faked several one-of-a-kind rare paintings, forever discrediting that family, would you then argue that the other paintings must still be real because they would be too difficult to fake? This is insanity. Without question, these dinosaur footprints are fake, and yet science, the media, the public, and the governments continue to support this obvious chicanery. As you can see, there's an unspoken desire by our authorities to perpetuate this dinosaur myth and truth be damned in the process. Shame on the state of Texas. Shame on the United States government. Shame on paleontologists for being either duped fools or co-conspirators. Shame on the media and everyone else who perpetuates these lies. May the people rise up against all of you.